Hello, hello. From Florida to California, across the nation and all the places and across the world, this is Unblinded. It is your talent hotbed. See the talent code. So, topic for this morning is what is what are you present to? Well, actually, let's ground in our why before I jump at that. For a second, breathe in your why. Breathe it in, say it in your head, say it out loud. My why is that someday I'm going to meet my creator and I'm going to be held accountable for my talents, and I want to have exponentially multiplied them and not buried or squander them in service of supporting people's rise in their money, time, and magic to make the world an even greater place with integrity. Like, that's what the mission is. That's what it's about for me. What's it about for you? Maybe you want to be an example of possibility to other people. Maybe you want to be an example of possibility to yourself. Maybe you want to prove to yourself that you can, which of course you can. But maybe that's right now the why space you're in. Maybe the why space you're in is you want to prove it to somebody you love and care about, because you want to inspire them and be an example of possibility to them. Maybe it's you want to lessen suffering and cure something. Whatever that why is, breathe it in and ground in it for a quick moment and own it and feel it in your heart. See it. What does it look like? Feel it. What does it feel like? Where do you feel it? Hear it. Make it louder. Make it feel more powerful. See it more vividly and clearly in color and motion. Ground in all of it. See it, hear it, feel it, touch it, smell it. Have all of it powerfully present in all of your beautiful senses. Pausing there, let's begin with a beautiful question of what are you doing great already in rising in your mastery? What are you doing great already? What are you proud of? What are you feeling strong in mastery rising? Maybe it's going to the deep practice sessions. Maybe it's that you're running shared experiences. Maybe you're grounding powerfully in agreement formation and making agreements. What is it that you're so proud of in your process, influence, self-mastery, just your overall commitment to mastery that you feel great about and so strong in? And from this place of clarity of vision, from strength in your process, influence, and self-mastery, let's step into a quick thought for today. So I've been becoming very present to mastery and consuming different or re-emphasizing and reinforcing in different places and spaces. Because remember, ideas are not disconnected. They're just like one context called mastery, which is the rising of your influence, process, and self, skill sets, and actualization. Mastery is the rising of your process, influence, and self-mastery, skill sets, and actualizations. That's all it is. And where is that for you right now? And then the question becomes, and the why is because that's what drives our money, time, and magic, and achieves our why. And the why is because that's what drives our money, time, and magic, and helps us achieve our why. And so what is Unblinded? What is this program? What is it all about? It's all about realizing that all of this, the concept of mastery to achieve our why vision, and the money, time, and magic that support it and drive it, this is all a singular context. There isn't something else. It all just fits into this model. Like, we need a model to understand ourselves. Like, what is each day? What is each part of our life about? What is it all about? And as we rise in our mastery of understanding this global context, you have a why. You have money, time, and magic outcomes. You know, there's a formula that dictates whether you do it or not have them. And you're not in the formula or out of the formula. The formula is dictating the result. So you are in process, influence, and self-mastery at all times. The question is at what level of mastery. You could be an influence mastery just talking nonstop, never listening, telling people what to do, yelling and screaming, being angry, being passive, being weak, being super strong. Like, you're in influence mastery. You're somewhere on the scale. Our new, for those that weren't there, we created a beautiful, fun, new 100 million unit scale instead of just saying the 10-point scale. So you could be operating at 100,000. You could be operating at 25,000. You could be operating at 197 on a 100 million point scale. You could be operating at 99,999,000, right? So you're operating somewhere, whether you're aware of it or not, and that's today's top point. Our self-awareness, not our beating ourselves up, not making ourselves worse than we are, not making ourselves better than we are, on these beautiful scales of influence, process, and self-mastery to achieve our why, our money, time, and magic, our ultimate vision. Our self-awareness rising, not so we're overwhelmed, not so we're crazed, not so we're perfectionistic, not so we're any of those things, crazed, perfectionistic, overwhelmed, but just present to the reality and truth, so we know there's access. There's access to the money, the time, the magic we want. And what a talent hotbed is, as it's described in the talent code, is a place, a space, an ecosystem where unique, bizarrely, disproportionately unique results are created. And that's what this space is committed to being. It's committed to causing people who don't make $1 million but want to make $1 million. It's committed to, if people want to make more than make $1 million, to making another $1 million. It's committed to people who want to have more time freedom to creating it, to moving from business owner, operator to owner, and owner to chairman of owners, to leader of owners. Example, like Chris Crone's doing in his consult for equity businesses or business and the businesses within it, where he's chairman to owners. And then there's the magic and rising exponentially in those outcomes. And what the talent code talks about, and we're gonna bring this more present because it's the data points, the truth of what we're doing here. It talks about these statistically crazy situations where there should only be one, but there's 100 times more than one. Example, Dominican Republic baseball players in the major leagues. The statistical number of Major League Baseball players based on the population of the Dominican Republic, right? How many people are in the world? How many people live in the Dominican Republic, and how many Major League Baseball players there are? There should be less than one Dominican Republic baseball player. Meaning, if there's one player in the major leagues from the Dominican Republic, that would be a statistically higher number than there should be if you simply evaluate the world population versus the number of Dominican Republic baseball players. What that number stands at today, I'm not precisely sure. We can fact check that. Anybody want to fact check it and grab it, that would be great. But it absolutely unequivocally stands at a preposterously disproportionate number. I am very confident that number is over 70. It has consistently been over 70, which means it would represent 10% or more. The number could be definitely higher than 70. But that means it's over 100 times what the number should be. And why is that? It's not genetics. It's not just because it's nice in the Dominican Republic and people can play baseball more. That applies, similar genetics, similar weather, applies to tons of places. And it's not, well, they really love baseball. It's a lot of places. There's more. And the more is there's something that goes on in the training systems inside the Dominican Republic that create a different self process and influence mastery than other places at just a higher level of mastery to create a statistically insanely bizarre output. And for those that are not like don't love math, we want to grow our association to math and realize this. What are we saying? It's like, because you may not be as adept, you may not be as skilled yet in math analogies, in math realities. So what 100 is versus 1 may not be quite as present for you. But imagine if you own one house and then you owned 100 homes. If you own one home that's $1 million home, and imagine that 5 years later you owned 100 $1 million homes. That's the kind of difference we're talking about. Or if you're able to jump 5 feet, no, probably not. If you're able to jump 2 feet in the air, probably much more average for the group, 2 feet in the air, and then you could jump 200 feet into the air. You could jump over houses. You could jump from the side of your home, over your home, and over the home next door and land. That is the difference of Dominican Republic baseball players in the major leagues against the norm of what it should be. Just think of that for a second. That's the power of what we're talking about. That's how a human goes from being worth $1 million to being worth 100 million. That's how somebody worth $100 million goes to being worth 100 times more, 100 times more, which I believe would be 10 billion. It would be 10 billion. You go, well, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy, because there's people actually now worth more than $100 billion. And they just mastered their self-process and influence mastery as applied to making money and creating leverage exponentially better, hundreds, thousands of times better than you did or I did. It's exciting. It's powerful. So in this Why Wednesday, the achievement of that beautiful vision of why is directly connected to the proximity you create with this talent hotbed to rise your self-process and influence mastery through very specific mechanisms and approaches. And over the course of this upcoming rest of the week, we're going to touch on this more deeply in these mornings to realize, like, what are we doing here? What's happening? What's possible? And to realize that if you look around the screen, you think of the beautiful people in the Unblinded ecosystem, some of you are going to accelerate 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times faster than other people here because of how you approach your commitment to mastery. And we'll talk more about it. And that's not try harder. It's not be more inspired. There's specific things in an approach to mastering mastery. There's an approach to mastering mastery. And that independent thing of mastering mastery is what we're going to be focusing on in these mornings, the next couple of days. How do you master mastery? There is nothing more powerful than having that self-awareness and the ability through your process, influence, and self-mastery around mastering mastery. You're like, whoa, this is so abstract. This is a lot. Yeah, just think about it. You want to be able to create a process to master mastery. There's processes to it. Deep practice is a part of it, and how you approach deep practice. Right? There's a model for mastering mastery. There's time blocking for mastering mastery. There's measurement for mastering mastery. There's innovation and optimization for mastering mastery. Overall, there's influence in mastering mastery because part of mastering mastery is influencing masters at mastering mastery to support you in mastering mastery and other people around you to create and go to deep practice with you and to do other things with you so you both rise in mastering mastery. It's generating a yes for that. And obviously, there's massive implications for how you step into your heart, your inspiration, your vision, crush your fear of failure, fear of rejection, self-mastery, to be mastered, to master mastery. I would suggest re-listening to today at least 5 times over the course of the next 2 weeks. This is the most optimal rendition created with care and intention for today, for you, that we've ever done in the concept of mastering mastery. And if we are able to hold, and write this word down, macro context. What macro context means is the big picture, all of it. What we just described is literally everything at the highest level to begin. Your why, and underneath that, it is mastering mastery. Beneath that is of this formula. Your why, mastering mastery, is the next level below that. Tink, let's create a slide on this as we go forward into the future. It is overall top level is why. Right? And then below that is mastering mastery. And then mastering mastery of what? This formula, because then it's duplicatable continuously. And we'll pause there as we reconnect just to our why and our heart and our being. Breathing in, feel strong, feel powerful, feel capable, feel able. Your self-awareness is present. It's not perfectionistic. It's not overwhelming. It's magical and beautiful, and realizing that as clearly as you can drink a glass of water, as clearly as you can see the water and the cup and know how to drink it, that's how simple, easy, and clear it is to understand mastering mastery and to begin accelerating at a faster rate than you ever have in your life at mastering mastery through today's huddle. That's what just happened. There's no possibility on earth that you possibly could have absorbed all of that. 5 times over the next 2 weeks, listening to this 15-minute-ish huddle, and you will compoundingly accelerate your macro understanding of why mastering mastery matters, and therefore show up at a completely new level of what we'll talk about tomorrow as it relates to deep practice, ignition, and coaching. The foundational mechanisms of accelerating your mastering mastery on your beautiful journey to mastering the formula as you master mastery to achieve your why sub-outcomes rooted in the measurement of your money, time, and magic. That was a lot and unbelievably packed full of a simple macro context for your entire life. All of it. Love you guys. Have a beautiful and incredible day. Happy Wednesday.